Yeah, nah, I'm just referring to him as OD the entire time. I've lost track of what it stands for at this point. Also, I really look forward to the civil debate in the comments for this one. A half of my builds I make myself, the other half comes from low prio servers. I have a funny story about how I came across this one. I really like breaking my friends out of low priority, so a while back we came across this guy who gets OD. I check this guy's profile and sees 1k, I smile, I brace myself for what I'm about to see. Cut to 20 minutes later, he's 21-0, the game's already done, I've barely gotten any farm because it's 20 minutes. I look at his inventory and I see Aether Lens and I go, why? And he says, I don't know. But Miracle told me to get it. He's my friend, check my profile, all high and mighty. Lo and behold, Miracle's right there in his friends list. A 3k guy named Miracle, with Miracle's face as his profile picture. Cause you know, Miracle clearly would have a picture of himself as his profile picture. Anyway, it turns out my OD saw this guy in a game, didn't know enough about Dota at this point, but recognized his name from like pro games and all his better friends saying, whoa, Miracle! He saw his MMR was 2,000 higher than him, added him, and this guy named Miracles just kept up this facade. Maybe as a joke, maybe to feel appreciated. I'll never know. But the 1k messages this Miracle impersonator about what to buy, and the guy, trying to seem smart, randomly just chucks out suggestions, and amazingly, he gave him this. The 3k player doesn't know if it's good, the 1k player doesn't know why it's good, and then there's me, witnessing it all from the sidelines with the knowledge and experience to put it all together and share it with you, I guess. It's a weird little serendipitous world we live in, right? You pick an OD when they pick the following: Omni Knight, Timbersaw, Anti-Mage, or Abaddon. The first three are counted by the... Okay, and let's be honest here, stupid amounts of pure damage you do with right clicks. Abaddon's counted because every time his ult pops, you imprison him and just wait it out. If these videos were more popular, Abaddon would turn around and counter OD. You can always just buy Blink and immediately blink out after Aether Lens, but before your ult does. But nobody's really watching these, so that little tip won't even matter. And that's what I like. I'm not big enough for my tips to backfire on me if I picked an OD into an Abaddon. The tier below that are Axe and Troll and like Ursa, because they do 90% of their damage in a 4-second time span, and imprisoning them right on top of that just takes them out of the fight. Ursa pops in Rage, Astral them, and the tier down from that are just armor-based heroes who don't build BKB much. Your pure damage nuke just skips right over that. But on the flip side, you know how Arcane Orb costs 160 mana per cast, and how you want to cast it a few thousand times a fight? Yeah, the Pugner's Nether Ward fucks that right up. If you cast Astral Orb 4 times, you deal to yourself over 1,100 damage. A step down from that would be the usual: anyone who buys a BKB, anyone who mana burns you, and at the bottom, anyone who you just can't reach. As with every Only Way to Play guide I've done, you can find this one in-game as well as here. The link is in the description, and the skill build goes like this. Arcane Orb is a unique attack modifier. It deals its damage in a separate instance to the attack, meaning every attack is actually 2 attacks, and yes, that does mean it destroys 2 of TA's refraction charges, among other things. Arcane Orb cannot reduce someone's intelligence to below 0, so don't worry about turning your targets into Balmy fans. If a hero dies, their int resets, but OD doesn't lose his. Even if he dies himself, the int stays until 80 seconds have passed. Astral Imprisonment's range is god-awful until level 4, where it becomes the same range as your attack range, so before that point, if you're attacking someone, you will always have to move before Imprison goes off. Pay attention to this red ring expanding. When it hits the rim, Aether Lens. Essence Aura doesn't proc on item abilities anymore, and it also doesn't proc on abilities with no cooldown, a toggle, or attack modifiers, except for Arcane Orb. Here's a little bit of math. If the proc chance is 40% and the mana restored is 25% of the mana pool, on average it restores 10% mana per cast. So if you have 1600 mana, making Arcane Orb's 160 mana cost 10% of your mana pool, on average you get 160 mana every time you cast it, so you can use it forever. At earlier levels, you'll find yourself with a 180 mana Astral Imprisonment and a near empty mana pool. When you're getting close to low, I'd throw out a few level 1 Arcane Orbs that are 100 mana just to kickstart the mana edge, and that's why I get the value point. And then there's Sanity's Eclipse, a spell you'll use about 3 times in a game, mostly because we don't get it until half the game's already gone. Just generalizing for this point, at level 12 on OD would have all up around 82 int. Let's take Tide since he's fresh in our minds. At level 12 he'd have 50. The difference between 82 and 50 is 32, and we multiply that by 9 because of the level 2 ult. For 160 cooldown ult we do 288 damage, so yeah, the sound and particle effects really don't connect with what's actually happening. You know, at glance value, this build would look like a normal, respectable OD build. It's just that one blemish, right there, that blue one, the one shaped like an Aether Lens. Like always, start off the game with some tangers and a null talisman, pick up trades, pick up 4 stuff, and pick up Aether. Alrighty, so this is the part where the music fades and I have to do the thing where I explain myself. You've played OD before. I've played OD before. He's always had the same problem. You and I both know that. He has no health regen, and he can't really fix that the normal way by getting Vanguard or Lifesteal or Tranks. It used to be back in the day when items procced aura that you'd get mech, but that was a long time ago. So let me put forward Aether Lens, which features a ring of health. On paper, it's all good. Aether Lens gives 250 mana, which directly increases your damage, as well as Amping Arcane Orb, which does that further. It gives good health regen, and, while I know it's only 1 out of the 4 spells, it increases Astral's cast range by a whole 50%. Look, for the same 2,350 price, you could get the Helm of the Dominator, which is good, but doesn't really give you any int or mana. You still could get mech, but still, no mana, so no damage. Or you could cross your fingers, rush 4 stuff, and hope that the Ring of Regen's 4 HP is enough. But then again, why not get both? Late game, up 4 stuff to Hurricane Pipe, maybe get a Blink. You can Astral yourself and immediately Blink out of nearly anything, and then get Scythe if you need the lockdown. Otherwise, just get a raw Moonshard, don't eat it, and hey. I mean, OD is just one of those heroes who doesn't really need anything but attack speed. Sniper needs attack speed, but he also needs damage and mobility. OD's int requirement is already covered by his own kit, but after that, fill your slots with just a mix of int, durability, and attack speed. Assault Cuirass, Shiva's Guard, Skadi. Skadi's really good, it gives 550 mana, which is the highest amount of mana that you can get from a single item, except for Octarine Core, which gives 750 mana, but we don't really get Octarine Core on OD anyway. Alright, 10 minutes in, we're finally at the how to play of the only way to play OD guide. First up, a 4-second disable at level 1. I don't think it really matters that they're invulnerable in that time, go snipe someone's rune with it. OD goes mid, and unless the enemy hero is melee or actively coming to you, don't bother imprisoning. A sniper can get in about 4 shots in the walk into astral range for you. You can mostly use it for dealing with the equilibrium or scoring a last hit when they have more attack damage than you. If there's a fight between 2 ranged creeps and your one wins, imprison him so he doesn't push the equilibrium forward. You don't really farm that fast, but to get the most out of it, hit 1 melee creep until he's 325 HP, then imprison him and chip away at the rest until they're all the same. This should take about 4 seconds, after which the astral ends and you can safely secure every single last hit with the nuke. Avoid the jungle if you can, there's more farm on the lanes and you can usually run from a gank with Astral and Blink or Force. You also really don't want to teamfight until Aether Lens or Force stuff, but after that, go wild. As long as you have the means to stay back, you should be good. OD wants to just sit there throwing out orbs and collecting int for his ult a good few seconds into the fight. In fact, OD shouldn't really ever open with his ult, unless you're so far behind and so far back in money that even after you steal all of their int, the enemy still has more than you, so your ult does nothing anyways. In that moment, lead with your ult. Use it as a glorified AoE mana burn. It burns 40% of their current mana, and at the start of a fight, that's 40% of their total mana. OD doesn't push towers very well, so focus on winning teamfights in a really grandiose way. Don't kill 4 when you could kill 5. And a good way to do that is to know how to pick targets. 2 people are running away. 1 has just been stunned. Astral the other before he gets away. Kill the stunned one, then kill the astral one. You can really only push if you kill every single hero. And hey, I think that's all I really got for OD. See you next time. Technically this video was supposed to go up on Friday, but that was April Fool's, and I didn't want to confuse people. Also, yeah, this is one of the guides that will provoke a lot of naysayers. I understand, I'm willing to hear you all out, but try it first, please? Or you can give me money and say absolutely whatever you want, like these dudes. Leonard, Free Kill, Foxy Fucking Loxley, Chris, 1996, King, Ice Bruticus, Mix Chillin, Mr. Magic aka The Tones, Pearson Mewborn, Insert Cool Name here, Xenoforce, Hubert Motherfucking Cummerdale, Shoot, Acroma McAngel Face, Turd Ferguson 67, Roger Mufleur, I think, Jeff Miller, Kaiser Wilhelm, Michael, Give Ira the Next Arcana, Rob, Shadow Sweetheart, Jacob Miller, See Brady, I told you I could get him to say anything, it's true, you can, Soranok, English Breakfast Tea, now part of the $5 club, I won, yes he did, Litho, Orslovic, Egg Z, 15, slap a leg, lamb on the side of it, Klamath, Stately Motherfucking Swordfish, Apache Murray wearing a headwear neckwear nicknamed as Hatcrafter, Dice, Aranin, Armin the Ultra Death Cat, Punith P, Zwok, Pro-S, Christian Ritter, Herpa Derpa Dooda Derp Swaggity Booty Beep Boop D? Booty Souffle, Red, I can't get the spacesuit off, it's been years, please and help. That guy's had the same name for so long. Kerrison, Redolus, Edge. Wait a sec. Stuggly Wuggums, Milacott, Yabbis McGee, Tsunami Shadow, Rhett Mitchell, Comrade Rawface, Xenoprenumber, and that's it. See you next time.